To you I pledge this sacred day to always spend my life, to honor my God in all my ways while I cherish you, my wife.
It's the wedding Michael and Brittany Loftis have been looking forward to.
He really is my soulmate. He's my best friend.
You may kiss your bride.
But this love story almost had a very different, tragic ending.
I was dead.
Go back to April. Michael and his friend Eric were among those here at the convention center for the Irving Marathon. Look closely and you can see Michael at the starting line.
I kind of had the adrenaline pumping.
They took on the half marathon course.
We headed out and I really was just expecting it to be fun.
Kind of business as usual, you know.
I didn't expect it to be much of a challenge, you know, being that I had been a runner for so long.
As the marathon goes on, everything goes as they planned. Eric, who had spent more time training, pulled away in the final miles.
Just kept pace and he slowed down a little bit, so nothing seemed unusual.
But shortly after Eric crossed this finish line, he noticed something.
There was some commotion to my left and someone had collapsed. And I stared at it a little deeper and realized, oh no, that's Michael.
I'm right here. Yeah, Brittany, Michael is passed out.
As a nurse, I'm thinking, throw some water on him, give him a banana, he'll be okay.
It would not be that easy. So this is where your booth was set up?
Right over there.
Las Colinas Medical Center was among the vendors here on Marathon Day, handing out free goodies.
Band-Aids and hand sanitizers and anything to promote our orthopedic line.
It was a lot of fun. We were having a good time.
They were there simply as volunteer ambassadors, but both are registered nurses with advanced training. They never knew their skills would be put to the ultimate test.
I saw a person down on the ground. That's when I knew, there was something going on that we needed to see if we could help with.
She had vanished from my eyesight and my eyes went through the guardrails onto a small group of people standing around someone. And then that's when I felt maybe there's something I could do, so I ran and jumped the guardrail.
So this is where it happened right here?
We saw Michael down about right here. He was unconscious, his lips were blue.
I don't think there's anything more serious.
Once we determined he didn't have a pulse, then it was a game changer.
I had started CPR and then Laura had took off.
That's when we ran to the truck to see if we could get an AED as quickly as possible.
All of our frontline equipment and our reserve ambulances and engines and trucks, it's a monitored defibrillator.
They put that defibrillator to work and more Irving firefighters respond.
We got a call for an unconscious person at the convention center.
You know it's serious.
You know it's serious when they say that.
You kind of go back and forth in your mind of going, is he gone? Is he going to come back from this? Because nothing's working at this point.
Brittany, this is for real. They're doing CPR and they're about to perform AED on him.
EMS personnel had arrived and they were starting to kind of take over. And then we were putting the electrodes on him. It wasn't probably until after the shock was delivered and we saw some movement.
They figure he had been completely unresponsive for about 3 minutes.
Once we delivered the shock, he started to come around, started kind of flailing his arms and his legs. He had signs of life again.
So they get Michael ready to go to the hospital.
We had 3 paramedics in the back working him at the time we're making the transports.
He was talking to us before we got to the hospital. He knew his name. He knew at that point where he was, but wasn't sure what had happened.
Woke up in the intensive care unit at Parkland Memorial Hospital in Dallas, and they said, man, you died for 3 minutes, and they had to resuscitate you. And the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
Michael does not remember everything from that day, but he and those closest to him documented his recovery.
Your eyes were kind of rolled up in your head. It was kind of crazy.
I don't really know what's happening, but I ran a half marathon today, and then something went wrong with my heart. Nor does failure course through my veins.
You can see Michael is already doing better with his then fiancée by his side.
She was there that night when the doctors came in and said, hey, so we ran these tests on your heart. You got an anomalous right coronary artery, which is a really fancy way of saying that one artery is connected to the wrong part of my aorta.
This is nice and flat, and then there's a bump right here.
He would need open heart surgery and a long road to recovery.
You can do this. Big breath in. All the way up.
Soon, he was back on his feet.
I feel like running a half marathon right now.
and sharing stories of the moments that led up to all of this.
My goal was 2:20, 2 hours and 20 minutes.
I see. It's a good goal.
But I made it in 1:57.
Oh.
And this is actually the shirt I wore during the race. And after I collapsed, they had to cut it off of me. So
now out of the hospital, Michael has many things to remind him of all he went through.
When I came out of surgery, you got the huge scar going down your chest. They gave me this heart pillow. And it's so that when you cough, sneeze, or even breathe heavily, you can hold this against your chest.
He had his medical team sign it.
And then there's Holly and Mike and Julia and James.
He shares all of this along with the photos
I'm like babbling on.
And videos.
I'm gonna let you sleep now, okay? Love you.
Because he believes his experience can inspire.
I love talking about it, and I love being able to tell people that this really is something God did in my life.
Both his faith and relationship grew.
Things that most engaged couples don't have to worry about. Life or death decisions, what will happen if it doesn't make it, or what will happen during the recovery. And so it was a very strong and strengthening time for both of us.
She was tough, man. She was seeing me in such a lame condition.
As they look back, they cannot help but wonder, what if? For example, what if he had collapsed while running in this rural neighborhood where he trained, instead of just a few feet away from experienced nurses?
Miracles are a real thing.
How are you? You look great. Oh my goodness.
They saved the whole world for me, because I would have lost the world. The world would have just lost Michael, but I would have lost the whole world. Thank you, guys.
He's full of gratitude for those nurses.
I'm thankful. I'm so thankful.
As well as the responding Irving firefighters.
I owe a lot to them.
That's what we're here for, and that's what we're trained to do.
It's really hard to think about it.
This is the first time the nurses from Las Colinas Medical Center have been back at the marathon site.
A lot of emotion is coming back. What helps me get through it when my thoughts do go there is Michael's side of the story and how his story is the best story to come out of all this.
They won't forget, and Michael hopes no one will, as he starts this next chapter of his life. A life he is even more thankful to have after what he sees as a miracle at the marathon.
There are things that we don't understand, but God is above all of that, and He used running to save my life.
Thomas Gandy for City Source.